Depression. I said depression. When depression came, I didn't see. The past in my life had caught up with me. The violent abuse I suffered as a child. My uni education that had been denied. So many things I'd suppressed inside. With nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. In a pitch black tunnel with no light in sight. Depression came like a thief in the night. Don't know if it came from the left or the right. But in denial I put up a fight. With coke and alcohol abuse to make things right. My appetite for business and money was gone. Life became devoid of fun. A good woman was needed, but I couldn't find none. My chances were 1,000,000,000,000 to 1. As suicidal thoughts came along, it took much more than just being strong against a thing so forceful, not so easy to overcome. Alcohol and cocaine, they were the enemy and not my friends. But way back then, I didn't comprehend, as they anesthetized the pain, anger and torment. To forget the years of betrayal from family and friends, and women who came for financial gain. Massive burglaries I suffered again and again, feeling like an outcast with 1,000,000 friends. Committing murder appeared to be justified after the way that I'd been crucified, but somehow God kept me off that path, because only God could abate my wrath. Because only God could abate my wrath.
Yes, blessed love, brothers and sisters in the community. This is Find Your Voice Events. Representing Brother Dougie in his absence is Tamara Gabriel. With our guest this evening, Hayley, the poet. Yes, we're going to hear a lot from her this evening. Hayley, would you like to say hello to our brothers and sisters out there?
Greetings, good evening, one and all. I hope you're well. And I feel really honored and blessed to be able to share my story and my poetry with you this evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're blessed to have you here, and we're blessed to have, a man and a king like Natty, who runs this radio station with his son, doing a great job, a phenomenal job. Running a radio station is hard work. I don't know how it's done myself personally, but I can see it's a lot of hard work. So give thanks and praise and glory to the Most High for all, the radio stations, community radio stations. Thank you, Natty. Thank you, every radio station out there and every DJ and presenter out there. Ragadi, thank you, Ragadan. Some you see him, Ragadan Dada. Oh, you mean, the music business, the DJ business. Yes, Sister Hayley, can you tell us, so are you born in England, where you're from, and give us some sort of up-to-date update on Hayley, the poet.
Yeah, so my background, I was born in London, in Tottenham. I lived in Tottenham all my life.
Yes.
And my parents are from Jamaica and Montserrat.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of both. But they were both born here, but their heritage is Jamaican and Montserrat.
And Montserrat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, just growing up here all my life. Tottenham's been a big part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a big part of me discovering my gifts.
Which school did you go to?
I went to, my primary school was the Green School. And my secondary school was D&K, which is now called Craig City Academy.
Academy, yes.
It's changed now.
Do you think these academies are better than the one that you went to?
Well, to be fair, I like the structure. I like the structure of the academies, but I feel like back in the day, school was good. Like, we enjoyed secondary school highs. Obviously, I don't go to school now, so I wouldn't be able to judge fairly. But I like the structure that it brings
The
forward.
structure, when you say the structure that is in place now, are you saying what is it exactly? Is it more facilities, more, what is it?
Yeah, so the facilities and then also the parents' engagement with what the young people are actually doing. So they give you much
Engagement.
more access to, you know, like what your child is learning and so forth. Whereas when I was in school, it was quite limited.
Okay, it
Yeah.
wasn't so open like how it is now.
Yeah. And as well, obviously, the technology has advanced since then.
Indeed.
So there's a lot of interaction more so now online than back then. You had to wait until parents' evening to find out certain things, but now you can't get away from it because
Okay,
the teachers
so
can
it's in
email
your
your
face, on your
family.
phone. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can't get away. You can't
you
say.
can't hide.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
it's
mean, you
changed.
don't look. I mean, you look like an internet baby myself. I mean, you look so young. You know, I'm surprised to hear you talk like that.
Thank you. It's a black don't crack.
Yes. Tell me something. So where did your appreciation, your love of poetry begin?
So I'm not just a poet, I'm a creative, so I don't like regard myself as just one creative form.
Okay.
My artist name is Hayley Venus, and it's actually a name that was given by my grandmother. My grandmother's name is Venus. There's three of us, three grandchildren that were named after her. And I've started to embrace that name on the way.
Yeah.
But I first started off, my first discipline was dance. My first creative discipline was dance, and I've been dancing since I was maybe 4 or 5. Was heavily involved in like gymnastics, dance. I was in a carnival band. And then I joined a hip hop group. We created our own hip hop group, so we was dancing all over. And then I've always enjoyed singing, so the singing as a creative form came next. When I was in secondary school, like my music teachers always were pushing me to write music, to sing more. And that's where that kind of expression, but that involved a lot of writing.
Yes.
So it's not really until maybe a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, that I started to see what I'm writing as a poetic expression.
Right.
Yeah. And then since then, I just write. That was always my thing when I was younger. Just write. And now I've started to write and then, put the words together in a way that flows, that has rhythm, that has soul, and so forth.
No, that's the point here, because people have different styles of writing. So you're saying you're the person, you'd write down words, whatever you were inspired by, you'd write them down. And so from day to day, week to week, year to year, and then suddenly you would just sort of pick out, like a jigsaw.
Exactly.
Yeah, you put them together. Yeah, I can relate to that because I write a lot of stuff myself. Do you ever write stuff just off the cuff, just from beginning to end as well? Do you do that
Yeah,
stuff?
so recently I've been doing a lot of free writing. I have a lot of like poetic, like people that are into creative writing, creative expressions. I have a lot of friends that we spend time, especially like when the sun's setting, sometimes we'll meet and have a free write in the park and stuff like that. But a lot of my writing also comes from struggle. So it's like a balance between, it's just me wanting to express myself. That's what gives me the drive to want to write.
You said something there about struggle, and it's true, because writing is a way of keeping a balance, isn't it, of your emotions and things like that through the trials and tribulations that we're going through. Putting things on paper is a very way to to stay on top of things, isn't that right? I mean, I learned that even in rehab, actually. You know, I learned that in rehab, you know, put your feelings down on paper and, you know, and you can reflect on it and you sort of, and you can see yourself. It's like a mirror of yourself or a mirror of your thoughts, a mirror of your dreams or whatever that they may be, or whatever you're going through, whatever you mirror of your feelings, you know, whatever it is. It's wonderful. And to get it to the poetic form now is it's magical. It's miraculous, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like it's a really beautiful process. It can be painful because you're having to sometimes relive your scars or relive your pain, especially when you revisit it. But also what I find is that sometimes when I write, it's not for that moment. Maybe it's for later. Maybe it's for someone else. Maybe it's, do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like, when I'm writing, it's almost like it's not even me. Sometimes it just feels like it's coming through me. And then maybe later on down the line, I reflect, or I'm looking through my notepads and I've read something and I'm like, oh snap.
Yes.
Did you write that? Okay.
Yes.
It's perfect for this time.
Absolutely. And you touched on something there. When we write, as writers, when we write, we just become a channel for the spirits of our ancestors. You know, that's how I understand it now. And they come through and they write. So the poet will come through and write, you know, and write through us, you know, whatever it may be. It could be poems, it could be history, it could be geography, it could be a play, it could, whatever it is, you know, and absolutely, and they could come through to us and create biscuits, you know, that sell worldwide, you know what I mean? Black biscuits, you know, black gold biscuits, the best in the world, you know, those ingredients. That's what we've got to learn to do to protect patent and trademark and the copyright our inventions, whether they be poetry or biscuits or a sauce or, you know, whatever it is, or a recipe for whatever it is. Yes, our inventions, as we know, we are the original inventors in creation, and nothing is new, meaning to say that everything that we see now, we already, you know, it's already been here before. You know, nothing is new under the sun. By God's grace, it's wonderful talking to you. So have you got a poem that you'd like to recite, or do you have some recordings of some poems? Or what exactly have you got in mind here?
So I'll have quite a lot of poetry with me. Okay, I can read something. That's cool. Okay, so the poem that I'm going to share first at this point is a poem that I wrote called Black Man. And I wrote it in, I think it's February. Yeah, February.
This year?
This year, yeah. And I wrote it because I was reflecting. I was in quite a meditative space, exploring my relationship with the black man. What does that look like? What does it feel like?
Yeah.
And really just like checking myself. So I wrote this poem in that time. So I'll share it with you.
Lovely.
Okay. So it goes, Black man. I nag you when you live history, his story, affairs, not aligned. See, we birthed your predefined destiny, my son, brother, dad, not by choice but by design. Black man, architect our kingdom so our beyond will reign. Repopulate our nations with strength like an ox. Bionic monarch, I feel your sovereignty. Certified, authorized in my eyes, emanate your monarchy. Abstain from perspective, arrive as I yearn your arisal. In high vibrations, move us in high translations to lead this home back home. Black man, all I ever saw in you was king. That's why your letdowns never made me step down, and still I stood beside you, still I stand beside you. So proclaim the throne your ancestors rain danced around. Reclaim, yield in this moment and fortify your excellence and royalty. Black man, I love you, I honor you. You make my whole existence worth it. I believe in your truth, I stand beside. I came from a side within you, I'm in awe of you. Delicate lion, your vision is me as well as us. Cultivate and restore your kingship. Regain position, checkmate, black, white boxes. I'll move across the board to protect you. See, my heart pays homage to you. As I remember our blood stripped backs, give me our name back, my kinte. Balance me. Black man, I am here, I feel you, I am here, I am with you. Black man, I am sorry, I doubted you. Pushed you away, cursed you 'cause I was too strong to need you and heal me. And it's been a long, lonely road to bring me here to this point, to this moment. And all I want to let you see from this point on is black man, I am here. Black man, I feel you. Black man, I am with you. Black man. Thank you.
I love it. That's a very, very powerful poem, Hayley. Poet. And as you were reading that poem, I couldn't help but feeling that we've been letting our black sisters down. We've been letting down our black queens who recognize us as kings, and we've really been letting you down. That's my honest feeling about it, my truth, yes, from what I understand of life, we've let our black queens down, brothers out there. I'm sure there's some of you out there who haven't let your queens down, but I'm sure that you all are in a minority, and we need the majority of our brothers, to unite with their queens, so that we can ascend to the higher heights, to the higher frequencies, to higher places, to a higher levity, where, we manifest things that we're here to manifest, and it becomes so easy, it'll become miraculous. I understand that, this is what's missing, that unity of the black man, the black king with his black queen, is holding us back from progress, and no doubt there are adversities out there who delight in seeing beautiful black queens raising children on their own, absent fathers, and someone was telling me the other day that, when they show things on TV, you see, the white family or the European family, and it's mom and dad and this and that, and they show the Asian family, it's mom and dad and the children and all that. But when they show you, a black family, it's like the mother and child. So where's the dad? And we have to change that perception. We have to change that because it's a fact. It's happening, and it's not helping us. And in fact, and that's one of the reasons, no doubt, our children are murdering each other out there, and selling crack, and into idolatry. They idolize labels, you call them designer labels. They idolize money, they idolize sex, and all that sort of nonsense. It is nonsense. It is nonsense in the sense that really and truly our youths ought to be developing in a positive way, which is a balance, which is in tune with nature, which is in tune with their higher self, which is their God self, their true self, their true being, and they have been separated from their true being, by the conditions that they've been brought up in, and our DNA is their DNA, and so I'm not going to slag them off or anything like that. I just pray, and God give us the strength, as elders and as brothers and sisters, to help our youths and to respect our queens, our black queens in the community. And brothers and sisters, let's start to, because some sisters have left their children with the fathers as well, and so really, brothers and sisters, we all need to forgive each other, because this is another thing. There's a lack of forgiveness, and forgiveness keeps us apart. Because if we cannot forgive our enemies, then we cannot forgive each other. And really and truly, if we cannot forgive our enemies, we cannot be forgiven ourselves. I know there's been terrible things have been going on throughout history, but all I know is that it was only through forgiveness I was freed from the past, the prison and pain of the past. It was through forgiveness. Forgiving my parents, or who put me through a hard time maybe, or forgiving whoever it was, or teachers, or whatever it was. Forgiving the National Front people who ran me down in the street with knives when I was a schoolboy, who I fought against them as well. I beat some of them up. I beat many of them up, as a matter of fact, but I've moved on from that because I've learned that, anger and lack of forgiveness, if we sow that, then this is what we repeat. So we will get children who lack forgiveness and who are angry as well. And this is why we see our sons and daughters murdering each other, callously, without no feeling, and ready to go to jail and do 35 years or whatever. But I'm not here to depress us, but the thing is, we have to do something evolutionary and revolutionary. We need to free ourselves, and it's only with the truth. And the truth is, love and forgiveness sets us free. And we cannot, love and forgiveness is one. Is one. I'd like to hear your comments on that, Hayley.
Well, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for the feedback on the poem. I guess how I feel is that we as women do have a role to play as well in the condition of our community. Like, ever since I believe that our ancestors, the women were healers. The women are supposed to heal and nurture. And as you said, if we don't forgive, then the energy that we put into our homes, although we may be coming from a place of love for our children, it doesn't teach them certain principles.
Yes.
That you need to allow your home to grow.
Yes.
In a rightful manner.
Hello. Sorry about that, baby. Hello. I thought the phone was ringing just now.
Did you answer?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Hello. Oh, sorry. Hello.
Greetings.
Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Egan.
Oh, Brother Egan, Father Egan, I beg your pardon.
Yes. Greetings. Well, I love the poem, the young lady's poem.
Yes.
It is making a point about us men.
Yes.
That said, let me be a bit mischievous here, right? I do think the pendulum has swung too far, in so much that we know what, I think when I say we know, a lot of us men know what we need to be doing.
Yes, that's true.
Whatever. But I would argue that we also need a little bit of help from the women, because, as you said, some women have left their children with their fathers, and I think we've got to get past the blame, right? We know what us men have failed to do, and hopefully we can all start to get ourselves together. I mean, men need to be having this conversation with themselves, instead of sitting down talking about football sometime, maybe, we do want to sit down, because women are very good at sharing information. This is something us men don't do.
That's true.
They'll have a problem. and they've got 10 solutions because 10 of their girlfriends told them how they solved the problem.
Yeah.
So, there is a conversation us men need to have, right? But also, right, we need to stop. Because, I go out and I'm amazed at how many, young men I see pushing their pram with their children. And how many young men I know are looking after their children. Some of them are not with their mothers still, but they're turning up and doing their duty. So, we can't just bash men. We've got to salute the ones who are doing what they are meant to be doing, right? And encourage the others who aren't doing it. And we also need the women to understand, because sometimes I don't think they understand some of the problems, just like men don't understand some of the problems that women go through. A lot of us men are suffering, economic problems, whereas our women are excelling. But this is,
Well, you said something there which really touches home, which is a lot of men are broke. They haven't got any money. And I know from in the past that, no money, you feel like you're nobody. And so you abandon your responsibilities because, but you see, the thing is, men must realize that the lack of money doesn't prevent them from spending quality time with their children, telling them that they love them. It doesn't stop them from kicking a ball together in the park or having an ice cream, and something like that, even if they haven't got any money. But at least, we need to spend quality time with our children and with our queens.
Well, I agree with you. And this again, because see, these problems, all the problems we have cannot be seen as just one problem, right? Because they're all interrelated. Right, there's a symbiotic relation between all these problems. And again, why do men and people generally think that to have a good time you have to have money? Because we've been fooled and seduced, as you said, into worshipping money and false icons, etc., etc., etc. Because you're perfectly right. A father will think to himself, "Oh, I haven't got no money today. I can't go and see the children because what can we do?" Well, I'm saying, but here as a grandparent myself, I'll tell you that the greatest times I have with my grandchildren are just watching them run up and down. And that's actually what they want to do. I can remember taking them to see the Cutty Sark, which I thought they'd have been impressed by seeing the Cutty Sark. No, they wasn't impressed. What they were impressed with was the fact that there was a big open space next to it that they could race in. You follow what I'm saying? I took them to see one of the statues. My phone rang. I asked my eldest grandson, I said to him, "Read what this statue says, what it's about." The phone rang, and I answered the phone, and the next minute I looked round, they were on top of the statue, because it was something to climb on.
Yes.
So, money isn't necessarily, but we've been tricked into thinking this. So,
Absolutely.
This is another conversation we have to have, that, it isn't about money. It is about time and quality time rather than money. That's what I'm saying. And again, all right then, a lot of us are broke. Follow what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, if this was taken into account, because there are many women who are cursing their fathers of their children because they haven't got no money.
No money. Yeah, so you
got no money.
You waste.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Waste
Now,
of space.
there are some who are, right? Remember, there's some who, because of, whatever, they're just not earning that great amount of money. Because the majority of us still work. The majority of us still work. The criminal population in the black community isn't,
it's only a fraction.
What they have us believe. It's only a small minority.
It's a minority. It's a minority. It's a handful of people in the community.
That just rotate around the prison system. Okay. But, so, anyway, all I'm saying is that the young lady, great poem, and she has brought up another, issue. But let us not beat these men. Let us encourage them
Well, I think she encouraged them.
So,
No, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just emphasizing the fact
Okay.
that, we don't, the pendulum has swung so far. Everybody, slagging down men, etc., etc. Right? We all know that. So now let us try some healing and some positive encouragement. Also, not just, because, you've got children women growing up their sons, telling them that your dad is an idiot, he's this and he's that and he's that and that. You're talking to a young man.
Well, let Hayley come in. Let Hayley come in there a bit now, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
hi, good evening. Is your name Egan?
Greetings.
Yes.
Greetings, good evening.
Father Egan.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the poem. Just to give you a bit of insight, so when I was writing the poem, I actually was writing it in honor of the man, of the black man that I know, or that I felt at the time when I was writing it. So it's really interesting to hear or to get insight to it making or bringing across the feeling of me putting down the man, when in actual fact I'm actually talking about the black man in his full strength. Yeah. When I was writing it, also the processing was all about me healing as a black woman. So often, yes, we do, the media and so forth, it does bash the black man, and sometimes even us as black women, sometimes, we do speak quite harshly sometimes about black men, sometimes even to our sons, and even to our fathers, undealt with conversations that we haven't had with our fathers, we bring into our relationships and then possibly into our homes, so just to obviously give you insight to where I was when I was writing it, it was literally from a place of I'm also acknowledging my input in my relationship with the black men in my life, whether that be with my father, whether that be with my son, whether that be with my children's father also.
I must say that I didn't think the poem was negative. I was just using the opportunity to, emphasize a point that that us men have a lot to answer for. But I think that the majority of us know that. Follow what I'm saying? So what we need now is the healing process.
Of course.
Just like you was healing, they need to be healed, myself included, so that we can get back to what should be our natural balance as between men and women, which is for the betterment of who everybody claims is their most precious, your children. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Some of us men will have to sacrifice ego and pride to, help create that balance. And the women too.
Yeah.
There's got to be some, meeting along the way. But I didn't think you would be negative. I didn't think you would be negative. But at the same time, even if I did, and as an artist, you are to elicit reaction. Whatever the reaction may be, somebody may come and smash your painting to pieces. That was the reaction that painting brought. So there's many views are going to be taken of your poem. But personally, I can understand that it was positive. I was just using it as a springboard to emphasize that, we don't need to bash the men no more. No, we do need to bash them, but we also need to encourage them. You know what I mean? I see young men walking about with their young children, and I always bless them up because it's such a great thing to see. You follow what I'm saying? Especially how the media and everybody would portray that, black fathers are always absent. And another thing is, a lot of women talk about their biological fathers of their children, but I'm sure that you understand that we were born in the village and grow in the village. So every child can have many fathers.
Of course. Yeah. No, definitely. As I was saying before, I appreciate your feedback. I just wanted to, push some positive energy towards the commentary around the black man, and just kind of give you a perspective of what I was feeling and going through, and what actually drove me to write it. So I appreciate your commentary. I understand that not everybody's going to resonate, or not everybody's going to have a specific reaction, and I'm fine with that.
You know, I got from your poem, I got the feeling that black man king, I'll stand by you no matter what. You know, that is, you know, this is what I got. Regardless of your faults and your weaknesses, and as well as your strengths, you know, I'm going to stand by you no matter what. And we, you know, we need to stand by each other no matter what. And that's a fact, because, you know, this is how life is, you know what I'm saying?
And have the open dialogue there. So this is beautiful, us even being able to have a conversation that's open and honest.
Honest. It needs to be honest. We can't get anywhere without honesty. You know, if a house is built on dishonesty, it's sure to crumble.
Indeed.
Quickly or slowly or gradually, but it will crumble. So you've got another poem for us, sir.
Yeah,
Right, Tamara and Nat.
Yes, brother. Yes.
Give thanks.
Give
I'll
thanks.
I'll be here listening.
Okay, Father Regan, you're here listening. Are you signing off, or you just listening?
No, I'm here listening. I intend to listen to the end of the show.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much.
Take care. Stay blessed.
Okay, blessed love.
Take
Give
care.
thanks.
Bye. Okay, so the second poem I'm going to share is called Freedom. So it's got a bit of singing in it. As you can hear, my voice is quite hoarse, so please bear that in mind.
Are you going to sing, or are you going to
I'm
recite?
to.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You can do it, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Would you like a sip of water before you start? Maybe just to...
I feel like I'll be alright.
You're alright,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Alright, this one's called Freedom. So it goes. All I want to be, all I need to be, all I want is our freedom. When will the captivity release our needs for freedom? When will the chains of iniquity be buried with our ancestors? When will the will of our hearts choose freedom instead of fear? See, they say freedom is a state of mind, but what if the mind is an illusion and our imagination has placed us in this realm we call time? They say freedom is a state of mind, but what if our mind's in a state that freedom doesn't resonate? They say freedom is a state of mind, but what if the mind is in prison, locked up in isolation where no one ever hears its sounds? All I want to be, all I need to be, all I want is our freedom. See, you have to know bondage to want freedom. Be afflicted and abused to be in bondage. See, you have to know bondage to need freedom. It's not our fault that no one does freedom correct. We've all got different concepts, born in different times with internalized struggles which could bring your spirit to death. But we were all born free, wrapped in our mother's perceptions of love, and then the world tugged us and poured in its jugs of persuasion and alignment. Like, what is freedom? Is it a rebellion against systematic control? Is it you being unconventional to the expectations of another? Is it the march that chants the injustice and fights for the power of the people? See, freedom we create, excel, reject, and sometimes we underestimate. See, I find freedom speaking the unspoken at places like Spoken, where the Saphir elevates and appreciates your spoken thoughts. When nothing matters here except your voice and your vibrations of passion and truth that lift and convict the very soul who is open to relate. The word freedom comes from the German word Fried, which means peace. So may freedom be with you. Imagine that Harriet Tubman kind of freedom. Wade in the water, wade in the water, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Imagine Underground Railroad, the line between freedom and slavery, physical violence part of your daily routine, lashed 5 times before breakfast with materials from leather to rope, which often had lead, sharp bits of metal or hooks braided or knotted onto it. Imagine a £2 weight lodged at your head for being disobedient. In her late 20s, she could do bondage no more, risking her life daily to lead slaves away from the plantation, away to a place that meant freedom. See, she had to be bold and brave. Her freedom meant more than just her being free, but to as many that wanted peace. Let's take a leaf from her book. Say with me, I am free. I am free from your ideals of me. I am free from my thoughts that keep me confined. I am free like the birds in the sky. I am free to think, feel, and create what's inside of me. I am free to feel pain, sorrow, and heartbreak. I am free to feel happiness, joy, and bliss. I am freedom in the search itself. All I want to be, all I need to be, all I want is our freedom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hayley, the mighty poet, queen of poetry and song. That's beautiful. Yes, I'd like to do some work with you with that voice you've got. You've got a beautiful singing voice and freedom. You know, it reminds me of free will. You know, we were given free will. You know, and once that is restricted or, you know, so on and curtailed, life becomes such a, you know, such a hell of a way to live. Well, it's not a living anymore; it's an existence only. Yeah, that freedom, it's so important. It's a basic need of our existence.
Indeed.
And we're born in chains everywhere. Children are born into all sorts of, chained to all sorts of conditions that I wouldn't choose for myself or for them, as a matter of fact.
Indeed.
You know, freedom. I mean, you in that poem, I could hear you encouraging us to be free. You know, free your mind, free your spirit, free your soul. You know, yeah, free your thoughts. You know, free your actions. Let it flow. Because we, you know, yes, with that mentality, we can unite. We can't unite without that. Without freedom.
Indeed. And the real question is, can one really be free without the rest of us being free?
No, we cannot.
Yeah. So that was
You
an
know,
interesting
absolutely.
question.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
that Harriet Tubman kind of freedom meant for me, when I read about her, when I feel the vibration that she had when she was leading people away, she couldn't stop until she had led, you know, as many people into that space of freedom. And when I say freedom, I mean peace.
Peace, absolutely.
Yeah, like the freedom I'm expressing here.
That
peace.
is what I was going to get to. It's you were talking about peace here, because freedom is peace of mind and emotional balance. Lord have mercy. If you need to call us and talk to Our Lady Hayley here, the poet, on 077 444 31366. We'd love to hear from you, from your poetry appreciation. This takes me back in school to when we had poetry appreciation classes, you know, English literature classes, you know, and a poem would be recited, and then we'd have to, and there'd be questions, you know, about us to see how much we understand what we've just read. And it's amazing how a poem can be interpreted in millions of ways, myriads of ways.
I feel like that's the beautiful thing about poetry, because it evokes conversation. Like, it allows you to question my thought process, or the words, or the sentences, or even it allows you to take a sentence into your own world and into your own experience.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
and then
indeed.
that brings about the conversation that most times we yearn.
Yes.
You want to be able to be open about your experiences and so forth. But sometimes the world that we're living in, sometimes it doesn't appreciate your thoughts.
Yes, and sometimes even if the world doesn't appreciate our thoughts, I've come to realize that we still have to express them
Of
because
course.
you can't please everybody.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? You know, really, that is insanity. To try to please everybody, it drives you insane. It drives people to drinking and drugging.
That's
It
true.
drives people to crime and violence. It drives people to all sorts of immoral behavior and disgraceful behavior because we're trying to please everyone all the time. And it drives people to a place of pain because we can't please everyone.
Indeed.
You know,
Indeed, I
all the
agree.
time. It's just not happening. Not in this world as it is today. You know, absolutely, obviously, because you know, the way I see it, for us to be able to please everyone, that means to say everyone on this planet is loving and forgiving, you know, and honest and open-minded and willing to do the right thing, you know, and humble and meek and kind, you know, and charitable. You know, these, you know, we have to have the spiritual conditions in order to, you know, in order to, how could I say, please everyone. You know, we all have to be in the same level. We all love each other. We care about each other. We're looking out for each other. You know, it's very hard to displease each other because we love each other. We're caring about it. We're looking out for each other, you know. So even if there's a misunderstanding, you still understand it's only out of love. You know, it's not out of nothing else. So, yeah,
It's not personal.
absolutely, it's not personal
It's
at all.
purposeful.
It's purposeful indeed.
Yes.
Well, you know, we'd like to hear some more stuff if you've got
Yeah.
anything else in mind or, you know, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Put the 9 in the middle. It's 072.
0794.
Yeah, I think it's 072.
Okay, thanks. Yes, just to repeat that, I may have made a mistake. I'm told that I read the number incorrectly. It's 079 444 31366. I repeat, if you need to talk to Hayley, our lady poet, the queen poet, 079 444 31366. We've got some great, powerful poetry here with some very poignant and very powerful messages. Poetry of inspiration, poetry of life itself. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next one I'm going to share is called Hope. I wrote this as a tribute. I was asked to do a tribute for Bernie, a community tribute for the Bernie Grants 20 years anniversary. So I wrote this for them. So yeah, I hope you connect to it. It's called Hope. I have hope. So I believe because hope instills faith of things not seen, things in my dreams, visions I conceive, supreme ice creams on lands we own, bike rides through imaginations of fulfilled fantasies. Bold and courageous is how hope moves within me. It sees mountains when some only see hills, diamonds when some only see rocks. Hope is open to more than the present moment, but to the growth of the seeds planted. Doubt and fear merely survive in hope's paths. Uncertainty stirs passion in life's touchy pot, not easily deterred. Hope decrees faith wrapped up in solid thoughts and positive energy towards the end goal. Hope is the purpose that equates to action. Hope it reflects, affects, detects, and manifests for everybody who is open to all its possibilities. Let's ignite a bit of hope within us and in our world today. Thank you.
Thank you. Another powerful poem for hope. Yes, you know, there's too much hopelessness going on. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's hopeless." You know, the people in power, they've got all the guns, they've got all the armies, they've got the economies, they've got the businesses, they've got the structures, they've got the establishments, they've got the constitutions, they've got the, they've got everything sewn up. So it is hopeless. And I don't believe in hopelessness. I do. I agree with you entirely with hope. Without hope, my God, we wouldn't be here today. The spirits of our ancestors were full of hope. You know, overflowing with hope. And this is why we're here today.
Yeah.
And we have to carry on that hope. And I'd like you to elaborate a bit more on your poem, maybe if you'd like to.
I think with the time when I wrote that poem, it was around the lockdown time, because I remember the event that they were hosting for the tribute was online.
Yeah.
And like I'm an optimistic person anyway.
Yeah.
I always like to see the beauty in things, and because I work with young people as well, I'm always trying to instill some kind of, artfulness.
Yes.
Some type of vision that brings us out of sometimes a current negative state or low vibration.
Which is hope.
Is hope. So when I was writing it, I was really inspired because I was thinking it was filling me with more hope also. And I moved the focus, away from myself, but more to imagine what other people are going through at this time.
Yes.
At the time I was working, which I still am, at the Selby Centre, so we have a food bank there which was offering food. So you was meeting people every week.
Was that the Sobel Centre?
Selby Centre.
Selby. Okay.
Yeah. So I was volunteering now and again. And you were just meeting a lot of people that obviously their circumstances had changed. So in terms of them having food provisions for their family and stuff, you were seeing quite a lot of imbalance. It was quite heartbreaking to see so many people in need of food, basic necessities. So when I was writing it, I was trying to move into a place that could, not only inspire myself, but also to people that were going to be listening, so they could feel and really transcend their minds into a place of positivity,
and
of faith, and of seeing things.
Hope is a foundation.
With their vision as well in mind.
Absolutely.
So that's where I was when I was writing it. And
yes, I mean, without hope, we're devastated, and it's very hard to get up without hope. If I think the situation is absolutely hopeless, what am I going to do? I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah.
You're
going to sit down.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Blessed love, blessed radio. Who's this calling, please?
Good evening, it's Teresa.
It is who?
Teresa.
Teresa. Aye.
Yeah.
Blessed love, Teresa. Blessed love. What have you got to say to our lady and queen poet, Hayley?
Hi, Hayley. Good evening. Yeah, I didn't hear the first but I heard the last one about hope. That was really, I really to emphasise with everything that you said. And to be honest, hope is everything, and peace. Because without peace, inner peace especially, we have nothing. I could resonate with everything you're saying about baby fathers and things like that, because I'm a single parent myself, and I'm raising two boys, young men now, and the whole issues regarding money and getting money, it is a complex situation to deal with, and I think a lot of men do feel if they don't have money to bring to the table, they don't have anything else.
Definitely.
But sometimes women make it hard for men as well, because they make them feel that if they don't have money, they don't deserve to see the child. So it goes both ways.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And even my son, my oldest son, he's never seen his dad.
Sorry.
So even though he's an adult now, I think that's really affected him. So there's my younger one, who does see his dad. So even though they've grown up in the same house, it was quite difficult, because he would go to his dad and my other son didn't. So the dynamics of that, and it does bring up a lot of issues in a household when there are different dynamics of different fathers, with different parents, with either child with a different man.
Indeed.
And even if the other man does try and assist or tries to be a parenting role, with the other child that isn't his, and especially when you break up, then it does become, it's quite difficult to manage. You know what I mean? So, I completely empathise where you're coming from, and especially in society today, how our black men are portrayed. I mean, it's not just black men, it's all men. Because they make out that it's only black men that, don't step up to the plate, but it is all men. But as we know in these times, we get the real end of the stick, so to speak.
Indeed.
But it is a work in progress.
We did speak about honesty. Do you think there needs to be more honesty, between mothers, with kings and queens, mums and dads, and so on?
The problem is when couples break up, it can be very acrimonious. So really honesty and the common sense goes out the window a lot of the time. So even if the relationship is broken down, it doesn't mean that the relationship with the children has to break down. But a lot of the time that does happen because people are hurt and they have feelings. And it's quite difficult to put the feelings aside and think of the children. So, it can be, it is tough. And when you're doing it on your own, and it is really hard. You know what I mean? It's so hard raising children on your own, especially young black men in the society that we are in today. And trying to instill positive role models in their lives, even though they don't have that father figure in their life. And you need consistency, and that's the thing that's very hard to do these days. Having a consistent person in their life that may not be their actual father. But like you said, it takes a village. A village to raise a child. But unfortunately, I think in these times, everybody's in a kind of a nuclear family. That extended family isn't as dynamic as it used to be when I was a child growing up.
Yeah, I definitely can resonate with that because I have a son myself, and the principle, I think when you was younger, or even me growing up, if I was misbehaving on the street and I saw my auntie or someone that knew my parent, I would fix up and make sure they would have nothing to go back and tell my parent. Whereas now the dynamics have kind of changed, whereas the younger people, not all of them, but some of them have less regard for the elders. Yes. So I think, it's definitely a process of healing, not just for us as the mothers, but for the young kings as well. And with me, like, my thing is trying to get him involved in, programs that do allow young black boys to feel free or feel safe, even to express how they're feeling, because a lot of that pent-up emotion sometimes transcends into anger. I've seen it in my son sometimes, and we have to have conversations, or I have to ask, like, my brother or another man that I regard to come in and step in and have the conversation, because I will never understand what it's like to be a man or young black boy. So I have to give that to others that, as I said, I regard as men. As men.
A woman is a woman, a man is a man. And when a woman starts trying to act like a man as well as a woman, it's very stressful.
Yeah, the responsibilities.
It's not, because she's not built that way. She's built to be a woman, and it just creates an atmosphere which actually lacks the solution to the problem, because as you said, we have to rely then on an uncle or a male cousin or a male or a granddad or something like that to step in. I myself right now, I've been stepping in I've got some grandchildren. Their father passed away at the age of 36, and so my daughter is very much in need of a male figure to help to support her, and I've seen her struggling, and these boys, they won't listen to their mom, but when I go over there, And I talk to him and say, you know, go and clean out the bath that you just bathed in, all that filth in that bath, clean it up. And as a matter of fact, you need to bath more often. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And go and pick up all that mess you just throw on the floor. They, you know, they throw their stuff all on the floor. They treat the place like it's, you know, like they have no respect for where they live. You know what I'm saying? And I know these things can be traced back to the absence of a father. You know, because the mother gets tired. She and I know my daughter, she gets tired running after them every time for this, and she needs a break.
She needs support as well.
Yeah, she needs support, and she needs support, and that's another thing. When you see children who are, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and upward years of age, you think, well, at least they can, you know, at least do something, you know, to ease the burden on the mama. And you find as the bigger they get, is the bigger the burden, instead of lighter the burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's very, very strange that, but, you know, we need to, you know, as you said, we need to support each other. We need to, rise up from the sleep state that we're in. You know, we need to get honest. We also need to go into action instead of just talking about it. Just do it. Just do it. Daddy says he's going to come around once a week. Just do it. Just time manage, fix that day. We tell our friends, tell our girlfriend, whoever she is, or whatever, or our wife, whoever, listen, I'm going to see my children on this day. That's it. This is Children's Day. You know, every week this is...
But the issue with that is a lot of people, whether it's a mother or an absent mother or father, they make promises and sometimes they don't keep them. And that's where the disappointment and the resentment comes in. So if you do it once or twice, you've heard the story 1,000 times, a child sitting at the window waiting for somebody to turn, don't come. And then that gets instilled in them.
Hold on. Can you speak up a bit? I don't know if you've moved your phone, but you're not as clear as what you were before.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
That's better, yes.
Perfect.
No, I was saying that children, when they get disappointed, and sometimes parents say, they make broken promises and they say they're going to come round or whatever it is, and they don't actually turn up, and they're waiting at the window, waiting all day for them to come, and then the mother or the parent who they're with has to try and explain their absence. And then obviously when it happens over and over again, it just keeps happening over and over again, and unfortunately that builds up this idea of how they think their parent is.
Yes, it builds up anger.
And then it makes it more difficult. The longer the parent is absent, the more difficult it is for the absent parent to come back into the child's life, because it's been so long. And then sometimes they just think it's easier just to stay away permanently.
Indeed.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like we have to honour our words more, because we don't see the effect now. Sometimes it will be like, you know, when your child's older, they'll bring that into their own relationships as well.
Of course, and they grow up with that in their head, that's how it is, and they just have that expectation or the lack of expectation, and they think that's how they should raise their children. But also in this society, we've been indoctrinated to believe that money is everything. Like the other caller was saying about just taking them to the park, you don't need to spend money. But because of all what's on the television and everything that's around them, that is overtaking their mind more than what the parents are instilling in them. So they will think that the way to a child's heart is the latest trainers, is the designer clothes, as opposed to sitting down and reading a book, or going to the woods and having a run, or taking them swimming, or whatever it is. So it's kind of switched.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we didn't really have a lot of money, but we did lots of things. But now, children only want gadgets and gizmos, and not all children, but because of the way society is now, we're fighting another battle. It's not just about the mother and father, it's the establishment.
Technology and
Yes, well, I mean to say, it's become very stressful for parents because having to keep up with designer things. I mean, the other day, you know, one of my grandsons, he got robbed of some designer bag or whatever you want to call it, and anyway, but my daughter was determined to replace it, you know, and all the rest of it, and you know, and all these things, it just brings stress on you, unnecessary stress. You know, you got to stress yourself out to go and, you know, find the money to replace that bag and replace, you know, or to keep up with these designer clothes, you know, like they refuse to wear this unless it's got Ralph Lauren on it, or, you know, and all that sort of thing. It's caused so much stress that I think, not only I think, I know that it's caused a lot of parents to go into criminal activities or into immoral activities in order to get the money, you know, to fund these idolatry, the idolatry that's going on, you know, and it's a shame because it's not the solution, but it's only compounding the problem. Because remember that our children are going to have children themselves, so, and if we just supporting that sort of thing, you know, without any, of course it's nice to buy my child a Ralph Lauren shirt or, you know, something like that, but we have to make it that it's not, that there are times when it's not the be all and end all. And I always told my grandchildren, I said to them, listen, you're powerful, you're beautiful, you're great, no matter what you're wearing, no matter what you've got, you're powerful, you can achieve anything in life, and you make that shirt look good. That shirt doesn't make you look good. You make the trainers look good. That doesn't, you know, the trainers don't make you look good. Don't give your power away to a trainer. You make the trainer look good. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, oh, I haven't got that trainer, so, you know, I'm worthless. No, you make that trainer look good. You know, we the ones who created these things. And, you know, I just hope to God that, you know, the message goes through to some of them and they realize that they're great, regardless of whether they're poor financially or rich. Because you have people as well who's got a lot and they feel like they're nothing. You have children, they've got everything, and they feel depressed, they want to kill themselves. You know, the dad will buy them a yacht if they want and put a captain and a crew on there to sail them around the world, if that's what they want. And they you know, they want to jump off the yacht into the ocean and kill themselves and stuff like that. So we know that material things and you know, money isn't the solution to our problems. You know, but, you know, although we need finance to help us in this life because it's part of life. But there are things which are priceless, and we have to focus on these, our health, you know, having peace of mind. You know, these things are priceless. Having respect, kindness, consideration, having patience, you know, tolerance, you know, forgiveness. You know, these things are priceless. You know, I've seen people go to the grave because they lacked forgiveness. They could never forgive their mother and father for this and that. Or they could never forgive him and her or whatever it is, or the system, whatever it is for this and this and this and that. And they've gone to their grave. That anger has killed them. You know, has brought cancer into their lives, diabetes into their lives, you know, obesity into their lives. You know, all sorts of things, depression into their lives. You know, this thing here, you know, we really have to let go of the anger, brothers and sisters, because it's dividing us. You know, and we've seen how quickly we rally together when there's an angry call to go and riot and loot and all that sort of thing. But when there's a call to come together to build a school, you know, let's put money in the pot. You know, where are they? Yeah, they're not there. But, you know, so that shows that we're just angry. And that anger is a barrier to us achieving greater things, which is building schools and universities and you know, businesses and all sorts of things that, you know, we need. in our
And
community.
stuff as well that we can hand down to
To our
young
children.
people.
Absolutely.
And legacies as well.
Absolutely.
Equally important. Definitely.
Well, I have to go now, but it was nice speaking with you.
Oh, you too.
Oh, it's lovely talking to you too.
Also,
All right, have a good evening. You too. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you. God bless you, Teresa.
Bye.
All right, bye now. God bless you. Yes, brother DJ Supreme. Could you call the 444 number 079 444 31366? It's open now. It was engaged. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, indeed.
I got one more piece.
One more poem you'd like to read, is it? Please do, please do. I can't stop enjoying reading your poems. I mean, you've got the gift.
Oh, bless
As a
you.
poet, it's a pleasure to meet another poet. Hello. Greetings.
Hello.
Yes, greetings.
Greetings.
Hi,
Good rising to one and all. Good rising to one and all.
blessed rising, my queen.
Greetings.
Very interesting topic.
Yes, greeting.
Greetings
Yes.
again.
And who are we talking to? What's your name, my queen?
Janet.
Janet. Okay. Right, okay, well, we've got our queen poet here, Hayley. Please fire away.
Well, Hayley, your poem is very strong.
Oh, thank you.
Very strong and very powerful.
Thank you.
And on the issue of parents growing up their children without their fathers, that's been going on for centuries and it's been stuck that way until we realize the change. A lot of things have to be maintained. Now, I've been brought up with 4 boys, and they're only girl in the house. And my mother was a disciplined woman, very moralistic as well, and very strong too. I have 3 sons, 2 sons myself and 1 daughter, and I'm very disciplined and moral, show them morals and respect. They cannot disrespect me at all. Even going to school, watching what other kids have and so forth, I don't entertain it because society says so. What was it like before all of this happened? People forget. Our seniors have forgotten. Because they come over here and they put up the society and what the society says that they must do. And follow that. You end up like a lost sheep.
Of course.
Then the children end up disrespecting you. Nah, if you don't put your foot down from their young, from they can walk and potty train them, they can pick up after themselves.
Yeah.
If you don't start doing that, then this is what happens when they grow up.
Yeah.
Then you wonder why these things happen. Each individual has their own story. Each individual has their own story and their own issue. And the baddest mistake that people make is carrying that issue that they haven't resolved within themselves to clear their chakra.
Yes.
To clear their chakra. If you can't clear your chakra, then you will maintain the same nonsense with your children. Let your children grow up confused and don't know the left from the right and all around the corner and back again.
Yeah.
Janet, can I ask where you're from in terms of,
Well, you can really accent me from the island.
Yes, I was like, where
I'm from the island, but I'm born here.
Okay, far in there.
I'm born here, but my parents are from the island.
From where?
From the island, Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica. Okay. Okay.
But I was brought up with a disciplined child.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I was a young mom, so, I had to grow up pretty fast, I would say. But I grew around discipline. Like, my mum was quite strict. like we got in trouble, when we done something wrong, we knew. My mum brought us up with a lot of respect, especially for our elders as well.
That's right.
She always brought us up
right.
with that mannerisms.
My mother always said, manners go a long way. Manners go a long way.
Very, very, and that's kept me. It's my attitude has literally given me a lot of leverage in terms of the relationships I've been able to build, my businesses that I've been able to build, and so forth. However, on the other hand, my brother, we all grew in the same house, same disciplines, same everything. But then the longing for the love from the dad did draw him into certain things, and I say that to say this, that sometimes even if you have a great foundation, as you said, if you haven't cleared, you know, that pent up emotions, then it's like you're not free.
That's right.
You know, and it's like anything can make its way into your into your path.
You end up doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and you wonder why things happen to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to think and if you don't have your level of consciousness there, then it dies.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to build up that strength and that spirit again.
I'm telling you.
Indeed.
You see, so with the youth, they know. A lot of things will happen, it's instigated. It's like I have 2 sons and they're growing up. And any little boy that I see that they don't look right, they can't come to my yard, they can't come to my gate.
You know, you got to wait.
I will run them, you understand? As little as I be, I will run them. They cannot come to my gate. They couldn't come into my house either. They can't come in the yard where they stay outside the gate. When you can't greet me properly, don't come to my door. Even though you're my son's friend, and I will talk to my son.
Yeah.
I will sit them down and I will talk to them. Remember, I have 2 brothers in the house. So I know what it's like for a young man, a young melanated man growing up in this, I would call it shit skin. Not system, shit skin. And it's designed that way for us melanated people to follow and not rise.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Why is this? People must question why this is and overcome that. And start something new and guide your young men. I have 2 sons and I guide them. And I'm firm with them. If my son come out of the house now, he's 23, he comes out of the house, I want to know where he's going. As long as he's not on our road, I want to know where you are. I'm in my friend's house now. Okay, fine. Even at that age, he's telling me where he's at. I have a daughter. She's telling me where, as long as she reaches the destination, she'll tell me where she's reached the destination. And that's how strict I am. I don't lamp with my boys. And us women, as melanated women, need to be firm with our boys. It's not everything you see you must follow. If you see 2 people on the road, you're not going to step in and go and walk over it, aren't you?
That's right.
So it's the same thing with anything else. You don't see things on follow where you're not, that maybe you haven't got your own mind. Your parents have not guided you and put no discipline and strength within you to have your own mind.
Yeah.
Or you get yourself into mischief and then you wonder why my mum did it. Blame the mum. Blame the dad.
Yeah. Also, can I ask you something? I had a meeting with some, you know, elders and stuff from the community, and we were questioning foundation. And thank God, like, you're calling up and you're quite open with your story and so forth. But there's a lot of things that I was saying. I'm 32 at the minute, but there's a lot of things that our parents hid from us. So things that we weren't allowed to hear. So some of the mistakes that, I'm not making excuses, but some of the mistakes, let's say, some of us have made, are also to do with the communication. So thank God, like, as I said, you're sharing today. This conversation is beautiful, because imagine how many people are being lifted by it. But there's also that gap of genuine conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, conversations that haven't been
you're
had.
absolutely correct. And I have had issues with that person myself.
Yeah.
But I have to think to myself, why is my parent like that? Why is my mother like that? Why is my father like that? Is it because of how they were brought up? You have to remember now where their lineage, where their lineage comes from. What happened to them while they were brought up? They didn't know no different. Come on now, they really got beaten and whiplashing and red hair. They didn't know no different. See and not see, try to be seen and not heard. Speak and this is spoken to.
Yeah.
Now this is what people our generation or my age group then fail to realize what our parents was like. Don't sit down and think, why is mommy like that? Why does she behave like that? So I'm the sort of person I will question certain things, even though they like to not speak out. But I will get certain questions out of them. And they will talk, or my mother would say certain things about how she was brought up, and then I could say, okay, I can understand now.
So
It's
would you
not
say that
that
gave you healing in terms of processing?
It is a healing, because I have to know. Because I know that when I reach woman myself, I don't want to pass on the same thing to my children.
Indeed.
Just because of how I was brought up doesn't mean I must carry it on to my children. Do you understand? And that's the mistake that people make. Because your mother brought you up that way and you think it's right, it's like you ain't got your own mind to think, oh, mommy did this to me, but I'll let me do this to my son because I got a child now. It's wrong. You got to think. How your parents brought you up doesn't necessarily mean that when you come and have your own, you must do the same thing. Where does a chain break? You have to stop the cycle like a washing machine. You put the cycle on, it spins, don't it? When it stops, and then it continues again. So the cycle continues. So therefore, people must learn to break the chain. If you don't break that chain, it continues. The cycle just continues on and on and on and on and on. Where does it end? Where does it stop?
Yeah.
And then you wonder why our children end up the way they do.
Yeah.
No fathers, even sometimes no mothers. And women, all mutilated women out there, stop running down your king man for money. Did you meet him when he had money, but then you lie down and have baby with him? Did he have money then? But he sweet you. But after the baby come, now you want to run him down for money, and then he left you because you have pressure him.
So what would you say? What would you say is like an advice to women then? Besides the money aspect, like what can we
stop
do?
Doing it. Stop running down your men, and then they end up going up with women that they shouldn't go up with for an easy life.
So what can you do to support?
What that man don't come and see the child. Don't pressure the man.
Yeah.
If you can't work together, then your main priority is working together for that child. End of.
Absolutely.
End of. I've had that same situation there, and I made sure that father come and take that child, take my child. I have everything ironed and bagged out. I hire no clothes. He didn't have to do nothing. I hire no clothes, bag. Here you go. Everything cooked on curry. Spend time with your quality daughter. Spend time with your daughter. That to me was important because I never had it. So I made sure that my daughter got it. And she did.
And that obviously takes the cooperation of the mother and the father, you know.
Communication.
Whether they're living together or apart.
Even if he didn't want to though, I made sure he did. I bring my child down there to him where he lives.
Yes.
I did that.
Powerful.
Without no argument and passa, because I don't want to do the passa in front of my girl, in front of my child with him. What am I doing it for? Sometimes it's good for a woman to just humble herself for the sake of her son or her daughter.
Yes, well, we all need to be humble on both sides. Humility is needed in the female as well as in the male aspect. You know, it takes two. You know, there's no one to blame. You know, it's a matter of just coming together and putting our egos and our dishonesty aside. My sister Janet, we've got a brother needing to come on the line, so we don't mean to brush you off, but if you could make way for him to come on, DJ Supreme is waiting to come on the line. He's been trying for the last half hour or so.
Wow.
So,
That is very good to show them.
Yeah, we much appreciate your input, of the highest caliber. Please keep calling in, please keep, because we need to, we need the healing process to continue so that our words become flesh, become our actions,
I
and
say
not
one
just,
more thing.
yes.
The forgiveness is a powerful thing.
Oh,
It's not
gosh.
easy for a lot of people to do.
Forgiveness,
It's not
yes.
easy. It's not easy.
It's a stumbling block for us, sister.
Yeah, but the forgiveness has to be done.
It has to be
It has to be done
for that
it to be
freedom
done. Correction
unite.
of oneself is good,
Yes,
and it's good for the chakra, which means your heart.
yes.
If you cannot forgive, like you said, taking it to the grave is no good.
No, it's no good.
It's
And we
no
pass
good.
it on to our children, so they lack forgiveness, and that's why they're murdering each other out there.
Yeah.
Because of the example of the lack of forgiveness. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay,
Let me
thank you
leave
so
Let me hang
much.
up now.
Yeah, thank
bless you.
you.
Bless
Thank
it,
you.
My
love.
dear girl, keep
Thank
it
you,
going.
Janet.
You was once a princess and now you're a queen.
Oh, bless
Keep it
you.
rolling.
Thank
Bless
you.
it,
Stop.
love. Give thanks
Don't
and
stop.
praise. Love.
One
Love you,
love,
Johnny.
one love, one love.
Bless it.
Bye-bye.
Love. Bye. Yeah. Yes, you've got another poem for us, I understand.
Yes, this is a...
And by the way, you said you've got other businesses that you run. Can you mention those quickly?
Yeah, so at the moment I run a community interest company called Make a Step.
Make a step.
Yeah, and it's basically it's a community interest company that works with young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. So I started in 2015, and what my mission was at that point was to take people from the diaspora back to Africa and the Caribbean to work with young people through creative arts. So our programs often run once a year in 4 countries at the moment. So in
Beautiful.
St. Lucia, in Kenya, in Gambia, and in Jamaica. We work with young people in orphanages back home, or in public schools. Yeah, just like basically from maybe, like when I say deprived, I mean resources. So maybe they don't have access to certain
They
provisions.
don't have books. They
and
don't,
so forth.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe they don't have any food. Maybe.
Yeah, food sometimes.
Or transport to get from,
Things like
get to that.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects that I run at the moment. At the moment, it's self-funded. So we've run about 11 international trips.
Self-funded.
Yeah. And
So that means you've got a few people funding the project, but
yeah. So
but you need more. You need help.
yeah, of course.
You need
yeah.
help. So where can they send donations to if they've got any fundings, any funds to send to you?
So at the moment we have GoFundMe. So we're halfway through of building a toilet in one of the schools that we're supporting in Gambia, and then we've got another GoFundMe which will be up in a few days, which you can get access to via Facebook or Instagram at Make a Step.
Make a Step.
CIC, and you can find information about our charity via those means.
Right.
But yeah, we're on our way, and I give thanks. We've taken over 31 people from the diaspora of all ages. The eldest person I took was 63, and the youngest being 17, university student. No, 18. Sorry, university student. So yeah, it's been really beautiful so
Well,
far
I mean,
to be able to serve in that manner through something that I love doing. So give thanks.
You said a word there, to serve in that manner. We're here to serve. We're here to serve humanity. We're here to serve life. Instead of thinking that life is here to serve us. We are here to serve life.
Yeah.
Which means put away your selfishness and your arrogance and all that sort of thing, and lack of forgiveness as well, and lack of love, lack of patience. We're here to serve life. We're here to, because life doesn't belong to me, but I belong to life. Yeah. Yes, indeed, you know, so I'm here to serve life, and I'm really grateful to you to remind me of that, and to remind our listeners of that we're here to serve life, indeed. And yes, and the name of your organization is called
Make a Step.
Make a Step.
Yeah.
Please check it out, brothers and sisters. Make a Step needs your support in order to support others. God bless you.
When you are online though, we use a Jamaican abbreviation, so it's Mecca Step.
Mecca, so
Yeah,
you
so
say
it's Mecca Step.
MEKA.
Yeah.
Mecca Step,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah, so-
MEKA, Mecca, MEKAH,
Yeah.
Mecca Step.
Yeah.
Check it out, brothers and sisters. Support our queen in our endeavors to help our people, you know, not just locally but globally. Indeed.
Thank you.
Yes, sister.
Yeah, so my last pairing that I'll be sharing is called Africa, I'm Coming Home. And ever since I went to Africa in 2017, it changed my whole life. And all I could ever imagine from that point on was actually like residing in Africa. Since then I've been able to bring my children, which has been beautiful.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I've never felt more at home than when I was in Africa.
Wow.
So-
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really phenomenal. So I wrote this.
Indeed.
This is actually part of a book that I'm writing called Poetic Introspections, and it's just some of my experiences. I hope that it'll be able to bring like hope, happiness, and healing through people reading my poetry.
So which part of the diaspora did you visit?
So at the moment I've been to Kenya, and I've been to Gambia as well.
Good.
And then I've been to the north of Africa, so I've been Morocco, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. But it's still Africa. You don't need
Yeah, it's
to
still
cross the
Africa.
sea to get there from
Yeah.
there. Or, yes, you can walk there. You can walk from Morocco to another part
You
of
can get to another point.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sister.
far, just those places, and because I have projects in those places, I've been able to build community
Wow.
and work with
Wonderful.
people in the
Wonderful.
community there, and then, so it's
Wonderful.
been good.
So it's interesting. How did you get to work with other people over there? Because you're living over here. How did you get that connection, to get that network going? Was it easy?
Well, yeah, it just kind of flowed quite organically, in the sense that I had started Make a Step in 2015, and at that point we was only traveling to Jamaica. So our first couple of projects were in Jamaica, in Mount Salem, and in St. James, the St. James Parish as well. So we were working in orphanages and youth clubs in those areas. And then when we came back in 2016, there was a small group of people that approached me, and they said, okay, we've got a project in Gambia. We're offering academic workshops, but we want to partner with somebody that could offer creative arts workshops. So we jumped at the opportunity, and then we went, and then since then we were able to build rapport with the people on the ground in Gambia, and they kind of just invited us in, and it was a really beautiful organic experience. We got to visit villages, and as I said, my children were with me as well, and it was very, very beautiful. And then since then we built the connection, and they invited us to come back again, and
So
since
you're
then we've been going every year.
Fantastic. So you've been walking with the crocodiles over there. I
Yes.
understand they just walk along the road with you, you know, you
Well,
just stroke a crocodile.
There is a park, it's like a crocodile park. They're not exactly on the road.
Okay. Yes, let's hear that poem that you've got for us, please.
Okay, so this one is called Africa, I'm Coming Home. African drum beats vibrate into the sway of my hips. Into my steps I glide, I feel my ascendance. Jangon, Jangon, spirit moved, communicating welcome abode. Karibu Binti Yangu, I enter a land I've never felt before with physical feet. Introduced, intrigued, the sand is rich, bananas sweet. Seas pure and the life here knows me as if I was here once before. Bright fluorescent head wraps synchronized with my heart's mantras. Market crafts carved from tree barks call me home. Percussions, pellet Awumba waves as droplets of reminders fall against my eardrums that this is your home. Creative woven baskets women carry like crowns upon their heads. With sweet chatter and charm, they convince me peanuts and cashews are a must. And the aroma of laughter and love sculpt the peplums on their dresses. Cowrie shells tell tales of Akhenaten, the ancient king who once saw what one feels right now for my motherland. Art and love to be religious, they poured pound through my vessels, speaking mother tongues. The tribes of my dimension shout, where art thou from? Was I taught wrong all along? Ad-led, all my cravings subsequently nurtured, pounded like yellow yam and egusi soup, fired up upon my palate. I rejoice. Blessed land you are, holder of my future, the truth. All life began with you. All life was chosen in your creation. Matter and being alike evolved, I thank you. And to you I shall return. Africa, Mon Bole, I am coming home.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Powerful.
Thank you.
Yes, well, it certainly inspired me to get home as soon as I can, to be honest with you. And I hope that there's at least one other person out there who's inspired in that way. We have to go home. As you said, when you went to Africa, you felt a power that you never felt before. It's indescribable, eh? Yes.
Yeah,
it's that connection, that, wow, you've come home, like the spirits of our ancestors just gather around us and just welcome us. They fill us with that full joy that's been missing in our lives for so long, that healing that we need. And obviously it means to say we ought to be living there in order to...
Yeah, it's our natural habitat as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where we need to be. They're reminding us of that. They're still waiting for us to come home.
Yeah, and there's so much for us there in terms of resources. Like, it's so important now more than ever, because a lot of the other communities are coming in and taking, certain things. So it's really important that we do go back.
Absolutely.
And we empower each other, because a lot of us have left, from the diaspora. We've left, our parents have left and not gone back. Even my grandma today, my grandma's 84, and sometimes I'm like, Granny, like, you don't want to go back to Jamaica? And she's like, no, sir. Like, like, she's past there, she doesn't want to go back, but a lot of our heritage is there,
Absolutely.
and we need to know where we're from. We need to connect with our roots, with our ancestors as well. So
absolutely. Well, there's an inner conflict, isn't there? There's a lot of people that say, well, yes, we need to get back to Africa, but then say, oh, but my grandchildren, oh, but I have a business, but me have to go sell my house, and all this and that. There's all sorts of excuses come up. We've become, how can you say, we're being discouraged from going home even by the media. I mean, to say, a lot of people think that, if I go to Africa, all the place is backward. There's no, am I going to get running water? Will I be able to have a bath every day? Is there proper roads? You know what I mean? And all that. Yeah, where am I going to get my food from? And, there's no trains. Is there transportation that gets from A to B regularly? Or, I don't want to be waiting an hour for a bus. Or, I don't know, all sorts of negative images come up, and all these flies people talk about. Oh, it's a health and safety over there is terrible. You know, you got flies for go flying on and landing on all the food, and people are just eating it, and you know this kind of nonsense. And
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really disheartening to hear, I guess, and we are quite accustomed to certain provisions.
yeah,
Even my children, my son struggled a lot when we went to Africa the first time and the second time, to be fair.
yeah,
But equally, that's why it's so important. The skills that we acquire, we bring them back, because we can't just expect the advancement. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we've left our home country,
yes,
we've come, to London or wherever, America, where it is, for a better life. It also is important that we go back
absolutely,
and we share the skills.
absolutely.
And we build up, and that's only at that point we'll be able to, change what the depiction is via the media.
Well, I'm listening to you, and I realize that we've helped to advance, and our forebears helped to advance this nation. Help to advance America and Europe. Let's go. Let's help advance Africa. Let's help advance Abyssinia. Let's help advance Kush.
And the
land of
trades that your generation had as well was very advanced in terms of everybody had a skill. That's what you was brought up to learn, to make something, plumbing, electrician. I don't know, something that
everyone was,
assist with the
was
building.
Encouraged, to learn a trade. That's
and
right.
now it's still about instilling that within our youngers as well, so that they can have skills and use outside of, because not everybody is academic in the sense that the school system might not support their way of learning. We're all individuals, but in terms of the system, they kind of push a lot of the time one way of learning things, one way of being examined. GCSE, where some people, their strengths may lie in other places.
Absolutely. You've got great leaders who are not intellectually bright, but they can inspire you with the truth to come and follow them. Because the truth is, God is the truth. God never lies. So anyone who's speaking the truth, they're coming from they're coming with the power of the universe behind, with the power of our Creator in them. So
and the strength isn't just individualized; it's unity.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think once we move away from that, and we start work. So that you've got this skill, I've got this skill, John's got this skill, and this person's got that skill. Then that's where the strength is.
Absolutely,
not necessarily
that's where the
you having
strength
to
is.
possess everything.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. We are going through mental slavery, in the sense of it's been said many times that that mentality of everyone trying to climb on top of the other, like the basket of crabs. Where you find the crab, they're trying to crawl on top of each other. That basket of crab mentality. We've got to let that go, because we get nowhere. As we can see, the basket full of crabs climbing on top of each other, none of them are getting nowhere. They're still in the basket, you know what I'm saying?
When one gets high, the
other one is pulling it down.
Yeah.
We're not getting nowhere. We've got to be helping each other up. Helping each other up the ladder. But people say, well, they're not doing that because when we helped him up, he never put his hand out to help us up afterwards. So
it goes back to your forgiveness point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Lack of forgiveness, it prevents us from progressing, from living in the solution, not in the problem. Yes. Yes, it's really wonderful talking to you,
Me too.
Hayley. Have you got a book, poems that you published?
It's on the way. So the book is called Unfinished Business, and is poetic introspections to hope, happiness, and healing. So me just sharing some of my thoughts, poetic thoughts, about things that have happened in my life, experiences, and how I've just used the writing to help me move forward. So into a new space
Mm-hmm.
and evolve and so forth. So yeah, it's coming out soon. It's coming out very soon actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be doing a book launch
Yes.
where I'll be some of my poets. I also run like a poetry platform with somebody else called Spoken. So what we usually do is we work alongside poets,
Mm-hmm.
and we before COVID we used to have a monthly meet up with
Yes,
poets come
poetry
together.
corner sort of thing.
Kind of like that, yeah. So we'd
Wow.
have poets from all over come down, and we'd have
Mm.
featured poets, local businesses, and so forth. So we'd have that as a platform,
Mm-hmm.
and it got endorsed quite a lot actually from a few big brands like Reborn,
Mm-hmm.
Converse, a few festivals as well.
Wonderful.
So we was really doing well. We still are doing well, even online. But,
Yes.
so I'll be using some of the poets that we've worked with before to
Yes.
read some of my poetry,
Mm-hmm.
and to share. So the Freedom poem in particular, I have a video for it. I worked with some young people that are dancers, and they did a contemporary dance piece to the Freedom poem, which is on YouTube. The Black
Beautiful.
Man poem also, we've recorded visuals to it.
I saw that. I thought that
Yeah.
was excellent. Very
Thank you.
powerful. Very
Thank
moving.
you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's all
Great production.
all for the build up for the book.
Yes.
Which should be out in the next couple of months.
And the book is called again
Unfinished Business.
Unfinished Business, where we do have a
Yeah.
lot of unfinished business. In fact, we have so much business that we relying on our children to continue, the business, because we can't finish this business ourselves, and unfinished business, we have to unite to finish this business. This business is not just a one man's or one woman business. It's everyone's business. We all need to, as you said, share our talents, whatever we can contribute, where our strengths are. That's what we need to contribute, because of course we don't want to contribute something that we're weak on. We contribute our strengths, so therefore we avoid the weak link, so to speak. There's no point me contributing as a speaker if I'm weak in that area, but if I'm strong in another area, in cooking or whatever, I contribute, with cooking. Or whatever it is, whatever skill that strength that we've got. It's not just all about money. Sometimes we need people to look after our children when we have an event going on. People who are very good at looking after children, they run the creche, and stuff like that. It's not just about money, and yes, absolutely. We can contribute in all different patients, people who have time to listen, sit down and listen to a youth, talk about all the trials and tribulations they're going through, their fears and so on and so forth. Sometimes it's not necessarily have to be someone who's professionally qualified. Anyone can listen. Because it's parenting again. I mean to say, yes, when we all have that in us, because we have ears, so we all can be listeners. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we all have ears. We all can be listeners. Indeed. And, but I'm also reminded about feelings, how we were discouraged about talking about our feelings as children, and, or even if you said, oh, well, in some households anyway, you said, oh, I'm not feeling well today. You say, I'll just pick yourself up and you'll be all right later on. And, instead of exploring, what are you feeling? What is this ill feeling you're feeling? Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it emotional? Nothing. Just, put yourself together. These days they call it hold it down and just pick up your books and go to school and all that sort of thing. And these things weaken us and causes us to lose hope. As children, we would be losing hope in having, the support that we need from our parents, because we're discouraged to speak about our feelings. I hope that this trend is changing, and we are now talking about feelings at the table, you know.
And I think I definitely can resonate with that, really, because in school I've always regarded myself as a leader, and often in that position of leadership, it's quite a lot of pressure in terms of you have people, you're guiding people, you're leading people, but in running Make a Step and so forth, I've been able to understand the power in vulnerability, and you being able to be weak, and sometimes being able to be weak and allowing your circle of people to also see the weakness, but also see you not stay in that emotion or whatever it is that you're going through, because life is life, we're all human.
Yes.
So we're spirit, but we're having a human experience.
Absolutely.
So it's good to remind our young people also that there is power in vulnerability.
Yes,
there is power in you also expressing yourself.
Ask for help. There's power in asking for help. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to ask for help. It's a sign of strength
and humility.
To tell the truth about what you're feeling. We need humility, because to ask for help is a humbling experience. We need humility. In fact, humility is the key to practicing spiritual principles. It's the humility. It's the key to practicing all spiritual values. Of our higher self. We require humility. So therefore, this is why, no doubt, it's so easy for us to go the other way, because when something that doesn't require humility, it doesn't require any self-discipline, which is going downhill, being arrogant, being angry, being ignorant, being unforgiving, being impatient, and being intolerant, being judgmental. These things come easy to us, so absolutely. So we have to break that cycle, so to speak.
And it's happening. I do believe there is a lot of light workers, people that are on the ground and doing what they can, and it could just mean one young person hears from someone that's active that changes 100 people, or helps 100 people, or serves 100 people. So I feel like there is progress, even though it's we can't really see it in the media, we can't really see it in the light, but there is a lot of people, a lot of light workers that are on the ground in the community, feeding our young people spiritually, and nurturing their emotions as well as they deal with whatever they're going through. So
yes, it's all about action, because we can talk and talk and talk, but the tree is known by its fruits. It's what we're producing. What are we doing? What's the action? Action speaks louder than words every time. Although we're talking here, we're talking ourselves into action, not into more talking.
That's true.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I'm just going to play a little number here. Yes. Well, okay. Well, seems to be just... let me see. I don't know. It is on, but when I put it on play,
My cousin and girlfriend, I never ever had to pretend. We live close together by the sea, on the beach of Lagon. I love the beauty of her mind and skin, and her spirit deep within. That's my Ereline, childhood sweetheart and darling.
Yeah, we're going after this.
So when I had to leave, I was sorely grieved, as I held her hands that night on the stars and full moonlight. Although I was just a child, I felt like a man inside. I touched her intimately, enthralled by her beauty, knowing I'd soon be missing our touching, cuddling, and kissing. Although we were just children, we knew we were more than just friends, and that loving feeling would never end. Now all I'm left with is the loving memory and scent of her presence, now absent, and the sound of the waves that gently kissed the shore with that sinking feeling, knowing I'd be seeing her no more. With that sinking feeling, knowing I'd be seeing her no more.
Well, we're going to talk now. Hold on. Yes, brothers and sisters. Well, Hayley's going to leave the building now. And
was filled with much despair.
okay, Hayley, please. Yes, Brother Regan, we're closing the show now. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, brother. Yes, our Lady Hayley, she's a busy lady. You know, she's got a lot of businesses running, a lot of people to see. So, brother, thank you for your contribution, and we'll talk to you soon. Great show. He said it's a great show. And thank you, Father Egan of Flying Squad. Remember to get your flyers from Flying Squad. Yeah, okay, Father Egan's Flying Squad. Okay, Sister Hayley, God bless you.
Thank you.
Can you please lead us out, please?
So I just want to say, kings and queens, whoever's listening right now, thank you for your time. Thank you for appreciating my words. And I really do pray that, you know, they've touched you, that you resonated with some of our conversations. We do have a great work to do. And, you know, big up yourself if you're ready on that journey. Just thank you for having me. And I look forward to coming on the airwaves soon again. Blessings.
A pleasure to have you, and an honor and a privilege. You're a great woman and a great queen, absolutely fantastic. Sometimes I think to myself, my goodness me, how could a man leave such a beautiful and powerful, you know, and such a creative woman, you know, positive woman. You know, really and truly, brothers, you know, we've got to get ourselves together and support our queens, and that's a fact, whether we're with them or apart from them, but let us at least be united in spirit and in mind and in one aim, one destiny, one vision, you know, one purpose, one action of love and forgiveness. Because with that foundation we achieve anything, all things. We live in the world of all possibilities, where all things become possible. You know, it cannot be done with anger and vengeance and all that sort of thing. We've got to rise above that, brothers and sisters. And thank you all for listening, you know, to Bless Radio. Thank you to Natty and his son for running this radio station brilliantly, regardless of whatever else is going on. You know, God bless all the listeners out there. Thank you so much, and all the other community radio stations. God bless Limbs, the comedian who's just walked in to take over the space. Also, God bless you, DJ Supreme. You know, God bless everybody out there. You know, we've got DJ Jammers. We've got so many DJs. Ross McCoy, God bless you all out there. Dr. Rabu, is it Atata? You know, God bless you. God bless you all. God bless Station FM, SLR. God bless you all. And also, sorry we couldn't get you back online, DJ Supreme. You know, God bless you, Taras. God bless you all. Yes, God bless the Black Open University. God bless you all. God bless everyone. God bless you. Peace, love, and joy be with you all. Good health. Yeah, and we talk soon. Blessed love.